हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू योर लॉर्डशिप्स। आज के सेशन में हम डिस्कस करेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट का एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जजमेंट के उमा देवी वर्सेस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ तमिलनाडु। On 23rd May 2025, the division bench of the Supreme Court, comprising of Honorable Justice Ujjal Bhuyan and Honorable Mr. Justice A.S. Oka, had delivered a judgment wherein they have provided relief to a woman who had claimed maternity benefit under the state government rules, and by providing the relief, a new perspective has been laid down with respect to the maternity leave of the woman. In this case is very important because it creates a harmonious relationship between the state's population control policy and the reproductive rights of the woman. This case examines whether a government employee in her second marriage can be denied the maternity benefit due to having two children from a previous marriage, despite of not having the custody of the children. So in this context, let us discuss the background of this case. In this case, what happened was that Miss Uma Devi was married in 2006, and she had basically two children out of her first marriage, first in 2007 and then in 2011. Then later on in 2012, she entered the government service. However, due to some unfortunate situation that might have been, her first marriage dissolved and she obtained divorce, and the custody of those two children from her first marriage was given to the husband. After both the children were born, in 2012 she had entered the government service, and in 2017 she had obtained the divorce and the custody was given to the first husband. In 2018 she married again, and in 2021 she was pregnant with the first child from the second marriage. Technically it was her third child, but it was the first child from her second marriage, and it was the first time when she had applied for maternity benefit under the state rules. After applying for maternity leave, the district chief education officer had rejected her maternity leave, quoting rule number 101 clause A of the Tamil Nadu fundamental rules, in which it was stated that the maternity leave can only be extended to women having less than two children, two surviving children basically. So यहाँ पे इनकी शादी हुई थी, दो बच्चे हुए, फिर बाद में वो गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में एंटर करी, बाद में डाइवोर्स हो गया, दूसरी शादी हुई, और दूसरी शादी से पहला बच्चा हुआ था, शी वॉज प्रेग्नेंट, and then she applied for maternity leave, which was rejected by the district chief education officer. Now we go through the legal journey which Ms. K. Uma Devi went through. Firstly, she filed a writ petition in the Madras High Court. This writ petition was initially decided by a single judge bench, and the single judge bench interestingly allowed her relief. It stated that she was entitled to maternity leave, reasoning that since her children from their first marriage were in their father's custody, they should not count against her eligibility. So single judge bench of the Madras High Court had provided her relief, but the same was appealed, and in the division bench appeal, this decision was reversed, and it was stated that the maternity leave is not a fundamental right but only a statutory benefit, and in order to qualify for the statutory benefit, the conditions given must be fulfilled. And since Uma Devi was ineligible as per the state rules, she should not be extended the maternity leave for her third surviving child. Then lastly, Aggrieved by the decision of the division bench of the Madras High Court, she went into appeal in the Supreme Court, wherein Supreme Court had categorically reversed the decision of the division bench and allowed her the relief. Now we see the contentions that were raised before the Supreme Court. It was stated from the side of the appellant, Ms. K. Uma Devi, that the children from her first marriage should not disqualify her from the maternity leave for her first child from the second marriage, and most importantly, applying for maternity leave was within her reproductive right, which is protected under the wide interpretation of Article 21 of the Constitution. On the other hand, the government vehemently rebutted the contentions raised by the appellant by stating that the leave policies which are given by the government to the government employees, they are subject to the state's fiscal responsibility. And by allowing the leave, and so in other cases also, the state would have to provide leave in such cases, it would overwhelm the state finances. The respondent also cited the importance of promoting small family norms as a population control measure. So these were the contentions that were raised in the Supreme Court. Now we come to the constitutional and legal frameworks that were discussed in this case. Article 21, the wide interpretation of Article 21 was discussed. Then the directive principles provided under Article 42, wherein the state has to ensure humane conditions of work and maternity relief is provided. Then Article 51, Clause C, wherein the state has to respect the international law and the treaties and obligations which protect the right of the women, the CEDAW and so on. And then finally the Maternity Benefit Act 1961. हालांकि इस केस में मैटर्निटी बेनिफिट एक्ट डायरेक्टली अप्लाई नहीं होता है. डिफरेंस क्या है? मैटर्निटी बेनिफिट एक्ट, द नंबर ऑफ द चिल्ड्रंस, ओनली थिंग इट इज सेज that if 2 or more children are there, the maternity leave, which is generally given for 26 weeks, it has to be reduced to 12 weeks. This is provided under Section 5 of the Maternity Benefit Act. Though Maternity Benefit Act was not directly applicable in this case, but as an aid to the policy making, as an aid to the rule making policies framed by the state, this act was examined. And it was stated that Section 5 places no absolute bar on the number of children for maternity benefit, only varying the duration of 26 weeks for women with fewer than 2 children and 12 weeks for those with 2 or more children. Then we come to the Supreme Court's reasoning. The Supreme Courts, while applying the provisions given in the Constitution, the international legal norms that have been framed in this regard, finally provided relief to the appellant. The Supreme Court stated that the maternity leave is a facet of reproductive rights protected under Article 21, and it is not merely statutory right or a statutory benefit as it was suggested by the division bench of the Madras High Court. Moreover, the international obligations are also there. The judgment emphasized that India's commitment under the international conventions in shaping domestic maternity benefit laws also mandates that in such a cases where there is a room for interpretation, the benefit should be given. On one hand, there is the state's population control measure, and on the other hand, there is a fundamental right of a woman. The relation between both these has to be harmonized. The Supreme Court stated that the policy of the state to arrest population growth and the object of providing maternity benefit are not mutually exclusive. Meaning thereby कि अगर state को population control करना है तो ये इस पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल मेजर को अडॉप्ट करने के लिए मैटरनिटी लीव को कंप्लीटली डिनाई नहीं किया जा सकता है. बोथ द रिलेशन बिटवीन द इंटरप्ले बिटवीन बोथ दीज टू हैव टू बी हार्मोनाइज्ड. द टू मस्ट बी हार्मोनाइज्ड इन अ पर्पसिव एंड rational manner. So finally we see that it was stated that maternity leave is not something which is a discretionary benefit. Rather, maternity leave is a right that is protected also under statute as well as under the constitution. The personal circumstances must be considered while while conferring the benefit of maternity leave to a particular applicant. Constitutional harmony must be there between the constitutional provisions and the statutory provisions or the state rules in these case. So this was all about the judgment. हमारा एक रिवीजन थ्रू MCQ सीरीज आने वाला है बहुत ही जल्द योर लॉर्डशिप पे. इस सीरीज में आप हमसे जुड़े हैं. इस सीरीज में हम बहुत ही कोर सब्जेक्ट्स जो आपके जुडिशरी में फ्रीक्वेंटली पूछे जाते हैं उन कोर सब्जेक्ट्स का रिवीजन हम MCQs के थ्रू कराएंगे. एंड द सब्जेक्ट्स दैट विल बी कवर्ड will not only be the core subject but also the minor acts that are there. CPC, BNS, BNSS, Hindu law, Muslim law, TPA and other minor laws and also the state specific laws. All the revision will be done through the MCQs. It will be very important for you to enroll in this program and gather the benefit through the MCQs. Practice makes a man perfect. So that is the policy behind launching this series. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned. Like, share and subscribe our channel.